third part of how to train the Baduan Qin. When you are in the process of learning some new movement, complex movement obviously has a lot of different layers to it. So, for instance, let's take the exercise number 7. Exercise number 7. I only did one side, just a small reminder what the exercise 7 was. It was our wood exercise, was our liver exercise. Now, obviously you have a step. You are breathing. You have a twist of the body. And not just one, you have a couple of twists of the body. You have an arm movement. You can include an intent. You can include opening your eyes, sparkling with the eyes. You can focus on your structure, on your spinal structure to be really straight, in a straight line, before you actually tense up at the end of the movement. So there are many different things that you can focus on. You can focus on an empty step instead of falling into your step, and so on and so on. The important thing is, don't focus on more than maybe 2 aspects if you're already experienced 3, but no more than that. Why? Because your brain can't handle it. Your consciousness could, but as long as you're not able to connect with your consciousness in a proper way, and you still think about the movement, oh yeah, and then it said I should do this, and then I remember I should do this. As long as you're at that stage, you can't control more than 2, maybe 3 things at a time. Otherwise you start jumping, and jumping means you go, yeah, okay, that's what is the step. Ah, yeah, now I have to focus on my hips. Ah, yeah, now I have to focus, my breathing. Oh, yeah, you jump between different things. And jumping between different things doesn't make the movement smooth. But what you want is one flow of movement. But to get into this flow, the separate parts in the movement, they actually have to be trained separately. They have to become an unconscious thing to a certain degree. So, as long as you have to think about every little detail, don't try to think about everything. That's the whole thing in one sentence. What does it mean for your training? Say, okay, I've seen the movement, I've tried the movement, and then start just the way like we did the movement in the beginner's version. Say, okay, today I want to focus primarily on my step. And then focus primarily on your step. And it doesn't matter if your arms are completely correct or not, because you're focusing primarily on your step. You check if the inside of your feet are parallel to each other. You check if your knees are bent inside, or if the knees are aligned with the direction of your toes. You check if your weight is in the middle at the end of the exercise. You don't care what the arms do. You still, if you have the capacity, you can still use the arms, but don't go, now I look down, but my arms are not correctly. Doesn't matter. Focus on your step. All right. next time you say, okay, now I focus on my arms. And I don't care if my weight is maybe off center or not, because what I'm focusing on is, how does my shoulder move? How does it feel? How does my arm coil? Now the focus is on that. Maybe take 1 or 2 things at the beginning, 3 things if you're good already, and focus on them. Repeat those a couple of times, and after that, then say, okay, now I'm going to do the exercise. But as soon as you go, okay, now I'm going to do the exercise, don't think about all the details anymore. Don't punish yourself for making a mistake, even if you realize one. Then just simply maybe do 4 repetitions and say, okay, 4 repetitions of this exercise now. And I go, whoa. I come in. I realize, whoa, okay. Oh, nice. You only focus on the flow. You only focus on connecting all the movement with each other without actually taking a hard look on all the details. And that's how you get better. That's how you increase your training and how you perform better every single time. Another thing, make sure not to specifically train all the exercises every day. At the beginning, just simply try to learn the basic flow of the movement. The basic version of the movement, try to learn that. Perform it as often as you like, whenever it comes to mind, no matter at what time. If you want to be specific and say, okay, and today I really want to get this arm movement in my 5th exercise correctly, then focus on that. Take this exercise, take the 5th exercise, focus on your arm movement, perform it a couple of times, try different things, see what your chest is doing while you're performing this movement. And then do 1 whole set. From the beginning to the end, maybe only 2 or 4 repetitions. And then just don't think about the specific training in the heart anymore. But don't go in the same training set and focus on another exercise as well. Say if you do that in the morning and you really want to get your training going, then maybe in the evening, when you do the training again, then you can go, all right, now I choose another exercise. Now I choose, say, exercise number 6 with rolling down, grabbing my toes. Now I choose this exercise to focus on specifically. But that's 2 different training sets. Don't overdo it. Don't give your body and your mind and your brain too much things to do, too much things to coordinate that might be difficult to actually grasp. Take your time. It will bring you forward a lot faster, I can tell you that. There is one more thing that needs to be added here. When you do your breathing in those exercises, make sure that your breath always flows with the movement. Remember that one part moves and all parts move, or one part stops and all parts stops. So make sure that your breathing is really in a flow and doesn't stop at the beginning or the end of inhalation or exhalation.